So before I get going with the main content of today's video, I just want to give a little shout out in the background there to Fuzzy's Cafe, which relatively recently reopened here at Fitchburg Station. Hello, good morning, welcome to Fitchburg Station. Hot coffee for $2.50. Look at the size of my hand, look how big this is. They're open every morning from 5, so unless you're taking the very first train in the morning at 4:33, then you can rock up here. If you've forgotten your coffee at home, or you just fancy a coffee when you rock up, head here. Great coffee, great price. Just good to be here. So, just a little shout out there for Fuzzy's Cafe. Not a sponsor, got to stress that, because, you know, YouTube gets a bit funny about it. In fact, I had to pay them for this, funnily enough. But yeah, Fuzzy's Cafe, if you're a Fitchburg local, getting the train from here, anytime, 5 onwards, 5 till 3. Weekdays, they're open. Come on down. Now for the main content. Thanks for your time. Again, not a sponsor. Like, everyone says that, but it's true. It's not a sponsor. Right, enjoy. Just like I'm enjoying this coffee. Welcome one and all to Kendall Green. One of 3 stations here in the town of Weston, Massachusetts. Or should I say was 3? Because now there's only 1, and this is that one. And I'm here today to look for the other 2. As you can see, this train, right now we've got some track work going on, specifically to lay down some new ties, or as we say in Britain, sleepers. So we had a bit of wrong side boarding on this one. Off goes 11:31. All the cars, all the vehicles patiently waiting. And now, once these cars are gone, I'm going to make my way to a couple of other secret little hideouts, or more accurately stations that for around 18 months or so now have not seen service, and who knows if they'll see service again. So let's go and tour the town of Weston, and I will hopefully uncover a couple of gems for you. Viles Street, which is home to Viles Street grade crossing. So, making our way down here. Probably can't make it out in here. You might be able to, but I'd say about 150, 200 yards in the distance is the crossing. And when we get there, I will tell you more about what is so unusual about this crossing. And I mean really unusual. If you don't know the area, you'll be surprised. And here we are. Viles Street Crossing, or as it's better known to many, Hastings Station. I'm not kidding. Welcome to the site of the former Hastings Station as it appeared when in service. Again, I stress, I mean it. This is Hastings Station. No waiting shelter, no signage, no warning, like nothing up the road there that said commuter rail and an arrow pointing towards this road and down here. Nothing whatsoever. Just the crossing itself being where passengers boarded the train. Now I believe there's a train coming in a few minutes time, so I'm going to let that come in, film it for your viewing pleasure where I can, and then explain a little bit more about this station, crossing, station, whatever you want to call it. It's a crossing now, but it was a station, so I'll explain more in a moment. I can't believe it, I'm finally here. I'm finally here at Hastings Station, and it's a station. It was a station. Yeah, here's a train. Welcome then to, again, I promise I'm not kidding saying this is the parking lot. Where I am right now, the old parking lot of Hastings Station. And you can't get more than maybe 4 or 5 cars in this bit. I'm staggered by this station. I can barely believe it was even a thing for as long as it was. As an example, this is pre-pandemic, so we're talking the 2018 figures here. This station only averaged 18 passengers a day total. And the fact that the town of Weston has 3 stations, Kendall Green obviously being the biggest of the 3, but Hastings Station stood for a lot longer, I think, than a lot of people expected, and it's certainly one of the ones that stood out to me before I started working for the commuter rail, before I moved here. It's just a fascinating place. So allow me to explain a little bit more. I'm going to head back towards the crossing and start making my way to the other station that I'm looking to visit, Silver Hill. So yeah, come join me in this absolutely fascinating station, fascinating place. So the sign here, if proof were it needed that this really was a station. Warning, passengers stand clear of track until train comes to a full stop. So yes, I'm not kidding, people used to board at this place. And I know a little bit about the history of this place and the history of why this station was here. And it dates back a long, long way. If you're watching in the UK, you might think this station being called Hastings is named after the Sussex town of Hastings, but it isn't. Over here, I'm not sure which of these 4 corners it was on, but back in the 1890s, there was a company called Hook and Hastings, and they were responsible for manufacturing pipe organs, so like the ones you would see and hear, obviously, in churches, absolutely bellowing out. The company was founded and based in Boston until moving out here in the 1890s. And when the company moved out here, the owners sought to make this place a kind of livable town, if you like, for its employees. So houses were built in and around this area, and that remained the case for nearly half a century until in 1935 the factory shut down and ceased business. The following year, in 1936, sorry, there's rain, there's plenty of rain. It's perfect weather actually for monitoring a station that is now shut down. But anyway, yeah, in 1936 the factory itself was demolished, never to be seen again, but goes without saying, the houses and the general urbanisation in this area remained. The station itself then remained until December 2020, when the MBTA decided to shut the station due to the low ridership. Like I said before, just 18 passengers every day using this station. Until in April 2021, the decision to close this station was made indefinite. And so it remains now, 2 years later, more than 2 years later, in May 2023. Such is the case as well for Silver Hill Station, which in this, again, lovely weather, I'm going to walk to now. So I will see you there. I'm just glad that cameras like this nowadays can withhold the elements like this. Time for a walk. And so in a little under 25 minutes, we're at Silver Hill Road, and we are just about to go over towards Silver Hill Station on the opposite side to where I'm currently filming. There are currently track works going on, as I may have mentioned earlier on. You can see some work vehicles on the tracks in the background, and the fencing just shook because that vehicle was going over the bridge. It's stable, don't worry. But over here, over there precisely, is where I'm looking to go, because I have made it to Silver Hill Station. Wow. So here then is Silver Hill Station, in a slightly less unusual place than Hastings, and the fact that it's not just a railroad crossing. What I didn't realise until I got here today, though, is that actually the station itself is boarded off, and this sign here, no trespassing, police take notice, per order MBTA police. And I thought that I'd be able to get down to the waiting shelter on the platform just to sit down and rest, but I'm not surprised, the station being closed now. Much like Hastings was, the station initially closed in December 2020 due to low ridership, and was closed indefinitely in April 2021. However, it had even lower passenger numbers than Hastings, and indeed it had the lowest passenger counts of any station anywhere on the MBTA commuter rail network in 2018, with just 11 people on average per day boarding at this station, which is an incredibly low number, and not surprising therefore that this was one of the stations that was closed when the schedules that we now run on the commuter rail changed the way they did in light of the pandemic and the change in people's travel habits. Now, this station itself was first opened in 1844, which makes it one of the oldest that I think I can recall on this network. And the station itself didn't have the same kind of urbanization about it that Hastings did. Hastings, like I said before, had the organ factory that moved to the immediate area around the station. But Silver Hill, as a urban area, should we say, I don't know what the term is that Americans properly use for something like that, but I believe it was 1901 that the major building around here for living purposes was first panned out, and that's when this station really came into its own. In fact, I will show you now the shelter down here, and hopefully you can make out the sign right there saying Silver Hill Station, with and you can tell how old that is from, I'm sure that was placed on the hut when it opened in the 70s. Service since June 17th, 1844. But indeed, no service anymore. And much like Hastings Station, it's unknown whether or not service will return here at any given point. I don't think for a moment that Hastings ever would, because it's, to me, still bizarre that that was ever a station in the first place in its current guise. Silver Hill more so. I mean, like I say, it at least has this shelter, it has something, and in a similar manner to Hastings, it does have a parking lot, albeit a small one, bigger than Hastings that is, but still a small one, and you probably couldn't get more than 10 cars here, which doesn't make it that suitable, considering that Kendall Green is obviously the best option of the three in the town of Weston. But that's now where I'm going to head back to and make my way home and continue on a circular route. When I came from Kendall Green earlier on this morning to get towards Hastings, I walked along the length of Route 117, and I was pleasantly surprised that the entire journey there was sidewalked, which you can't really take for granted walking anywhere in America, but I was pleasantly surprised with that, and I'm gonna now continue on what is a clockwise loop hopefully to get back from here towards the northern tip of 117 and then walk south after that. So time to head back to Kendall Green, and I'll see if I can grab a bite to eat on the way. I think I know a place, and I will let you know, like I want to, or hope to, in all these videos, no matter what the context of them. If I can show you a local place of interest, a local eatery, something like that, then I'll try. And I think I know the place, so let's head there now. And I will say, when I walk there now, most of the walk from Kendall Green to Hastings, and indeed from Hastings to here at Silver Hill, was uphill. So I'm hoping that the start of this journey continues downwards, because I'm a brisk walker. That wasn't, well, not a difficult walk, but a challenging one at least. So over to 117 we go. We're not too far from it, and we'll take it from there. This walk suddenly got a little more memorable for me, because when I used to work in my old job in Boston, I took Route 117 home on Fridays in particular, because the traffic on I-95 and on Route 2 was so bad. And I remember vividly driving past this place all the time. And this is not where I was going to show you actually today, but I noticed it straight away from a distance. They open at 11:30 on summer mornings, or spring, summer, you know, seasonal. And had they been open at the time that I was coming here today, I would have gone there, no question. But might return there in the summer. Might just drive this place for old time's sake, and I can now see a gas station in the distance that I also recognise, and yeah, it's all coming back to me a bit, which is great. So the place that I am actually going to try and grab something to eat will also probably be kind of fresh in my mind too. What I wouldn't give for ice cream right now though, I'll tell you. That would be nice. Turns out the place I was looking for is right by that gas station that I was telling you about. Kendall Green Services, and right next door, Weston Market. See what they've got to offer. And that was a very worthwhile trip. Thank you, Weston Market, for this BLT sub. And now, just to find a baker's inn across the road again, and head back towards Kendall Green. Okay, for your amusement, this wasn't in the script, but I've had to change what I'm holding in my hand, because the sole has just fallen off my left boot. I'm about 300 yards out from Kendall Green Station, and I'm now having to walk with a very slight hobble. And, oh yeah, you know what, I passed this on the way here as well. In America, for you Brits who didn't know, any kind of temporary road work or anything like that, they have these little fold-out signs. And that's them up there. You can probably see the police car in the distance. But people in the UK will no doubt know that the sign that's put out for roadworks very much looks like someone with an umbrella pointing towards the ground. If you're American, you don't know what I'm on about, look that one up. UK roadworks sign. Road sign, whatever you want to search. Google's good these days. You can do a lot with it. But yeah, I appreciate that sign, because that categorically doesn't look like an umbrella. So I realised I was walking past the same area that I was walking past before. So I thought while I was filming I would show you that in passing. But the main reason was because of this. So yeah, this is my left foot saying hi. It has no soul. Haha. It's the devil's foot now, or something like that. Didn't plan on making a pun on this part of the journey anyway, so I'll just shut the camera off now and see you at Kendall Green, because that's enough terrible puns for one day. Made it. With one very wet left foot. And now, 10 minutes to wait until my train, so I'm just going to relax, take this opportunity to eat, and that can just, you know, I'll put that back on at some point. So, looking now at the little GPS tracker on my phone, the grade crossing warning noise is coming in, and it's farewell from Kendall Green, and a quick hello to these track machines doing the tie work. But this is the latest episode of Royce on the Rails all done. So thanks for joining me at two very unusual stations, and I'll see you again soon. Take care for now.